Okay, so learning lessons along the way in terms of my business journey so far. I would say my business is quite infant. We're only 5 years old, and I've been in architectural practice for a long time, over 20 plus years. But setting up my own business and own practice has always been an aspirational goal of mine. And usually there's a happening in your life that forces that decision, whether you want to do it or not. Sometimes it's either force, or sometimes it's like, well, now's the best time, if not now, then never. I took that leap of faith in 2016, and I've never looked back, and it's been a fantastic experience so far. One of the biggest things I would say is, from my experience from setting up on my own and then getting a business partner involved, expanding, and then that whole situation has changed. So don't be afraid to evolve in terms of your understanding of the path you're taking at this point might be different in 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, whatever it will be. And don't be afraid to adapt, because being able to adapt, being versatile, means that you'll be able to grow and develop in an exponential way, which is a way I've tried to do my business. Bringing on, I think, with that growth, you need to make sure that you're bringing in the right people. Surround yourself with people that believe in the culture that you're creating, same ethics, but also that challenge you as an individual, because you don't want people that are just yes people. You want people to challenge your thoughts, your processes, your understanding of situations, to then make you a better person, make you a better business person, and hopefully grow a business that is not so one-dimensional. It's not just about you, it's about everybody that's believing in that culture. Don't just be the face of the business, be part of it, be fully invested. You've got to love what you do. I'm very passionate about what I do. I'm very lucky to do a job that I really enjoy doing. It's very creative, but also at the same time, the new challenges I've learned over the last 5 years is that I really enjoy the business side of running a company as well. It wasn't just about the processes and the services that we're providing, it's the whole echelon of what owning a business offers. People that know me probably will have a difference of opinion, but I get quite embarrassed when people say how well I'm doing in terms of my business life. It's when people say, "Oh, Simon, you and your practice are doing great things. You're doing really well, and you've done it in a relatively short space of time, and you're growing. You're growing a really good brand, and the stuff you do is putting it out there and putting yourself on the map." And it's a little bit embarrassing to hear that your peers and industry professionals say that. But at the same time, I would say embrace that, because that's a good reflection on what you've done and where you've come in a short space of time, effectively. You need to reflect on that and go, actually, yeah, do you know what? 5 years ago, I just set up a company, not knowing where it was going to go, not knowing whether it would last 5 months, let alone 5 years. And here we are, and I'm already looking, hopefully, for the next 5 years and taking it step by step. But having that reflection and being able to pause, reflect on what you've done, acknowledge your achievements, and move on from there and say, actually, so now what's my next goal? Always set yourself realistic targets, and just make sure you deliver on those targets, rather than giving yourself hundreds of things to do. Focus on, it's the age-old saying, do one thing at 100%, not 5 things at 20, 25%, whatever you're going to do. Hang on, 5 twos, yeah, 10. There's no mistake to be made. There's no right or wrong way of doing something. There's just a learning curve. and from that mistake or poor decision or just misjudgment of a situation, learn from that. It's all about development. You know, as long as you don't make the same mistake again, then you're just a silly fool. But if you can build on that and say, actually, I tried that route, that didn't necessarily work, or it wasn't the right fit at the time, that from that you will go, okay, that didn't work, this is going to work better this time, or I will take an element of that I learned and apply that to a different situation. I think a lot of people, when they go into business, when you start a business, your first sort of driver is, well, okay, I'm investing money, I'm not making any money, I need to make some money. Otherwise, this venture is going to just fall on its face. So then you think, how can I actually make a living from what I'm about to do? If I don't have any client bases, how do I do that? So you're continually learning on different aspects that you've never maybe been exposed to do before, or been in those situations. I think you've got to embrace them, but all of that is part of being a business owner. So if you are open to that, you'll then grow and develop and move on. And the funny thing is, 5 years in, I now don't think where my next project's coming from. I now think, how am I going to grow and get maybe a different format, a different type of project, or break in different echelons of architecture, in terms of, if you're renowned for one element, then you're kind of niche. You want to be able to be a broad perspective and be able to deliver different products. So I think it's quite interesting that when I started, it was all about how am I going to make this a success, but also earn a living from it. And then you start thinking, well, okay, now I need to bring people in. That's quite scary. That's a new challenge. You're responsible for other people and families and mortgages and things like that. So your concerns change and evolve as the business does. And before you know it, you're employing 6 people and responsible for 6 families, 6 mortgages, and you're not even thinking about how scary that actually is. You're just thinking about how the business is going, how you're going to develop, what those people are going to bring, deliver, grow, and be part of something that's quite fun to be a part of. It amazes me sometimes when I sit down and think, and if you think too long, it does get quite daunting, because you do think, oh my goodness, this is actually grown from me working from my garage to now being in an office and employing multiple people and doing some pretty cool stuff. But just that reflection, what's my driver? That fear is a good positive driver, because it keeps you on your toes, because you can never sort of sit and relax and go, yeah, actually we've made it, because it's not part of an entrepreneur's makeup. You're always moving forward. But I think if advice to me 5 years ago, if I could say anything, would probably be, just go for it, in the sense of, don't maybe obviously consider the issues or problems that may arise, but just go for it. Grow. If that person's right for you, get them in. If they're not, then obviously it doesn't work. Well, it didn't work, but then don't be afraid to then learn from that experience and bring the next person in and give them the same opportunity. Because a lot of people, if you get burnt by a scenario, you're like, oh, well, I'm never making that mistake again, but you can't then be unfair to the next individual that comes in that might be a brilliant candidate, great team player, but doesn't get the same opportunity. So it's quite difficult, because you don't want to make the same mistake again, but you've also got to allow that situation to happen, to then see the full potential in the people you're bringing in to obviously produce a better product for the entirety of the business overall.